Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to Monday Morning Activations with Val and Mike. I'm so glad you could be here this morning. Let me go ahead and bring on my partner, Val Alino. Hello, Val.
Hello. It's so good to see you all again today, and you, Mike. We have discussed behind the camera how Mondays have become our absolute best day of the week. We really are enjoying these activations, right. And we are bringing lots of love and lots of connection and opportunities for our viewers to start their week, their day in such a different way that will last through the whole week. So right. I know some people come in live, some people watch it later, but we are pleased with the growth that we've done and the feedback that we've gotten. Do you agree?
I agree completely. So just at the risk of, not wanting to use any more of your time, because we want to stay very much right on the 10-minute mark that we told you that we would do. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and turn it right over to Val.
Thank you so much. Well, before we fully start with our 2 words of this week, for those of you that will be joining us later and learn a little bit about this morning activation with Val and Mike, we channel through 2 words that will resonate to bring in a 10-minute activation. We have worked with connect and celebrate. We have worked with intentional and change. Last week was show up and make it happen. And today we channel down trust and empathy. So bringing those words into your spirit now, centering yourself if you are in a position to do so now. If you are driving or doing other activities, that is fine now. However, if you can, just center yourself with me so we can fully tap in to a message that comes down through us, to elevate and activate these 2 powerful words, trust and empathy. So if you are in a position to put your feet down in the ground and center yourself and put your core up at eye level, and just take a couple of breaths and actually breathe in through your nose all that you're able to bring at this time that is for your highest good. And now exhale intentionally all that is not longer of service to you, whatever happened during the last week, whatever happened during the weekend. And go ahead and take 2 more intentional breaths and walk with me through in this journey. Inhale and exhale through your mouth. Release all the tension that could be there from past experiences. And one more time, center yourself to this present moment. And exhale and bring yourself into this time and space. And I ask you, my dear ones, how much are you really trusting yourself, allowing intuition to lead your path, allowing this trust, this unconditional trust to come through you to make the decisions that you have to make in life? What would it look like to you to make these decisions in such a lighter, more contributing way for you and the people around you? Just knowing that your trust, that your heart is actually the compass of your life. At this point, if you are in a position to do so, I would like you to bring your hand to your chest and recognize that loving heart that beats towards you, for you, to make things happen, to team up with you, to see the grace within the things that are coming to you so that you can trust and have empathy for you. Empathy means trusting as well, putting yourself first as well as connecting with the hearts of others, where you can actually feel unity, that you can actually never feel alone. What would it take for you to integrate these 2 words, love and empathy, into your heart at this moment, so they are part of the leadership team that comes along with you in any decision making, in any doubt, in any momentum, that you can be also a service to others, knowing that that piece of service will actually help us activate that empathy and love and trust that we are seeking for today. And in fact, we know that we don't need to seek it because it is within us. We are here only to activate it, bring it about, elevate it, and make it part of our life. At this point, I want you to fully, please, take deep breaths and slowly bring yourself back into this time and space, and just feeling like there has been a full integration of trust and empathy into your heart this morning. And we want this activation to stay strong, that it doesn't last only in today's activation, but that you can actually feel this elevation of energy in your system around these two loving words, trust and empathy. And without further ado, I want to bring back Mike so that he can fully activate. And I hope we are live. I feel so much silence this morning, but I know our tribe will come. And Mike, what is your intake on these two powerful words?
Oh, I used to believe I understood what the word trust meant. Okay. It wasn't until I did kind of a deep dive study once about trust that I realized that trust actually includes a couple of different components, right? And once you start to look at those components and you realize that there are three different basic pillars that have to do with trust. Okay. The first one is your ability to do things, or your ability to get things done. I mean, people want to be able to trust that when you say you're going to do something, you actually can and do things. But more importantly, even, is also authenticity. Authenticity is a big part of trust, right? Being genuine, being real, right? People knowing that when they're talking to you, they're getting the real you. And then even something that I wasn't quite sure I understood at the time when I started learning about trust was empathy. And that's the ability to actually care about people. But more importantly, that people believe you care about them, right? I read a quote here recently that it says, withholding your true self, right, puts a cap on how much you can be trusted, right? So when you're guarded and you don't let people in, all right, which is basically you're pushing back on being authentic, right? That also is what contributes to our inability to be empathetic at the same time, right? Empathetic meaning, right, walking a mile in people's shoes, right? Seeking to understand, right, before we desire to be understood. And so there really are, again, three parts to empathy, three different parts. So there's cognitive empathy, right? Which is the ability to understand what people are feeling. That typically we can get pretty good. We understand what people are going through. We understand what maybe they're even feeling, right? But then there's emotional empathy, which is the ability to share those feelings with someone else, right? It's kind of like stepping into the same space and both of you sharing those feelings, right? Whether it be pain or pleasure, right? Sharing those feelings together. And then honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a third part to empathy, and that was compassion. All right. And I will tell you, my family will tell you that, I've struggled with compassion for a very long time. Okay. Because passion actually has three parts as well. Being concerned, right? Sharing people's pains. Okay, but here's the more important part. Taking practical steps to reduce that pain, right? Actually doing something about it, right? Empathy really, as my father would say, empathy isn't really empathy until the rubber meets the road, and the rubber meets the road when we care enough to actually do something about it, to take steps to alleviate people's suffering, alleviate people's pain. You know what, guys? I'm going to bring my friend back. I want you to know, and I always attack things this way. If I'm going to do something, if I'm going to be a part of something, I want to learn and grow at the same time. I've never been in a place where if I'm speaking to someone, I mean, typically I'm just that far ahead and I'm trying to stay ahead here. I'm trying to make sure because I'm kind of in a new space here. And for sure, empathy is something I'm still learning and growing how to do correctly with my family, with my friends, and with the people that I'm surrounded with. Okay, Val, jump over and kind of help me out here.
Absolutely. And I want to jump in with this one word that you used, Mike. I want to make sure that I'm doing correctly. So there is no correctly in empathy. There's no good and bad, okay?
Yes.
I want to invite you and our loved ones. We have now Rihanna and Robert. And I know if you missed the beginning part of this, guys, or you're hearing this later, be sure to tap into the whole conversation. And I want to go back to that it's not correct, right? Empathy is a part of our journey. And as long as we're activating and feeling like even a milli% of it, it's already part of the path. What happens in life is that when we put that judgment of like, I'm doing correctly, it's good or bad, we're actually stifling a little bit of that energy. And you're full, well, at least that might be something you're working on, but to my eyes, from what I've felt and have met who Mike is, I mean, you've been the most loving and empathetic friend without even meeting physically. So whatever point of view that our audience or you might have of the past of what empathy looks like or what is not looking at or having been judged, or you yourself unconsciously are being judged for some reason that you're not fully empathetic because someone in your life might not have been empathetic to you, you see? So now, Mike, with you, this beautiful example and those people that will join us and are joining us now, let's please remember to let go of any judgment and just simply be present in the opportunity to be empathetic now and forever. And so it is, right?
Yeah, I think it kind of, what you thought you just gave me to think about, it's that whole, it's very difficult to love other people until we learn how to love ourselves. Probably it's very difficult to be completely empathetic towards others until we can be completely empathetic to and for ourselves, which again, I think most driven people, A-type personalities, I know I struggle with that as well, being as empathetic towards myself as I am towards people around me. So that's a good word, Val. Thank you.
And I want to bring up one more message that is coming down fully that is going to be of so much service. We were talking behind stage how I had a situation where I was really not well spoken to and was unfairly, to be honest. There was no need for what I lived through this attempt of having a conversation with this person where I got judged and yelled at poorly at a hospital where I was caring for a loved one. So the whole thing to my physical eyes, down to earth eyes, was completely wrong. However, I was able to tap into that empathy to know where this person was coming from, that I know her past, I know her aches, I know her pains, I know where she's been in terms of relationships. And despite of the threats and the swords I was feeling that were like shifting towards me, I was able to not only have empathy for her, but for myself. How did I have empathy self? I raised my hand in my heart and I said, thank you, but now thank you. And I love you and I respect your point of view. But I also made an oath to myself that I will never be exposed to people that are mistreating me or misjudging me. So let's take a break. I respect you. I love you. I hear you. And I'm just really standing up for my own heart that I want to be surrounded with much love and you are love, and we're just not finding that moment now. And when you hit that point in your life, whether it's in work, whether it's your house, wherever, and you can fully bring in empathy and trust that if that person came into your life is to remind you, or the universe testing, hey, let's see where you are in this category of life. So then you actually end up not fully embracing all this, guys. So really, these two words come really strong. And are the core of so much peace and knowledge. In fact, they say the highest form of knowledge is empathy. So I don't know how much value as humanity we are putting in this beautiful time to grow with empathy and trust. And so it is, Mike. I don't know if you have something to end. I just want to echo everything you said, very precise in all the steps of empathy. And I just love this time with you, with our audience, and invite them to please, if this has been of service to them, to share even after hours, because the more we are present under one intention, the more we activate everything that is brought down to us. So definitely encourage people to join us.
I agree completely. Guys, I just want to say thank you again. We love having the opportunity to visit with you on Monday mornings. As Val said, I take it upon myself to share this with people after the recording that I think is going to be purposeful and help them. I would encourage you to do the same. If there are some people in your life that you feel like today, this message is exactly the message they need to hear today. Just be kind enough and empathetic enough to share this with them and say, hey, I was thinking about you today. You know what? You guys are awesome. We love you very much. We thank you for letting us into your mornings each Monday morning. Have an amazing day, my friends. Bye-bye.
Namaste, everyone. Bless.